Car crashes happen more often than you think. In the US, there are over 6 million car crashes every year, and some of these are very severe. Apple's new devices come with a crash detection feature, which is amazing. But does it really work? Here's the truth about the new Apple Watch Ultra crash detection feature. How does crash detection work? First of all, the crash detection feature notifies people if they are immobilized during a crash. After being involved in a serious car accident, Apple Watch Ultra can put you in touch with emergency personnel and alert your loved ones. The Apple Watches and phones will display an alert and sound an alarm when a major crash is detected. Now, you should note that the crash detection feature is not enabled on all iPhone and Apple Watch models. Later, we'll tell you which models have the crash detection feature, so stay tuned. Supposing you are still conscious after a crash, the emergency call slider on the iPhone or Apple Watch can be swiped to either initiate a call to emergency services or dismiss the alerts. If the user does not request the warning within 10 seconds, the gadget will sound the alarm again in 10 seconds. If no one comes to help, the device will dial 911, inform that you've been in an accident, and provide your precise location along with a search radius estimate.
Impressive.
Test. As for the question of efficacy, we do not doubt that it does. In fact, Joanne Stern from Wall Street Journal deliberately crashed a car while using an iPhone as a control to demonstrate this. She sent the results to Apple. According to Stern, the Apple team said the testing conditions in the junkyard didn't provide enough signals to the iPhone to trigger the feature in the stopped cars. It wasn't connected to Bluetooth or CarPlay, which would have indicated the car was in use, and the vehicles might not have traveled enough distance prior to the crash to indicate driving. If the iPhone had received those additional clues in a more suitable crash scenario, together with confirmation from its GPS that the vehicles were actually driving on a road, the device would have been more likely to sound an alarm easily. That being said, it still did detect with those few signals. Now, I'm sure you are curious about the crash indication sensors that trigger the crash detection alert. We'll get into that coming up soon, so don't miss it. In the case of the Apple Watch Ultra, the likelihood of detection is high because in the event of a collision, if you're wearing the watch, it can easily pick up the indicators to call emergency services. Crash detection signal sensors. Sophisticated Apple-designed motion algorithms achieved crash detection in Apple products to detect crashes according to Apple. What this means is, there are various accident detection sensors, scenario indications, and real-life driving and crash record data built into the iPhone and Apple Watch devices. For example, we have the GPS readings can be utilized to detect speeds just before a crash, any sudden lack of movement, and to alert the device that it is going on a road. A barometer would detect a change in air pressure caused by the deployment of the airbags when the windows are closed. Microphones can pick up on extremely loud noises that could indicate an impending accident. According to Apple, the microphones are muted unless when a car is identified to be in motion. Also, when the Watch Ultra is paired with CarPlay and Bluetooth, the algorithms receive further confirmation that the device is in a moving vehicle and should be on the lookout for an accident. And finally, we have the motion sensors. The Apple Watch Ultra has a high G-force accelerometer and 3-axis gyroscope, sampling data at over 3,000 times per second. This implies it will be able to record the precise instant of collision and any deviation in the vehicle's velocity or direction. If the situation meets all the sensor signals, a watch could save your life while you are immobilized. Crash detection is such a critical feature that should come on everyone's smartphone. Unfortunately, that is not the case, but we hope more brands adopt this. We'll keep you updated on any developments in the future about which devices will be getting this feature. Subscribe to our channel and get alerted whenever we drop a video. Availability. Now, the crash detection feature is not available on older iPhone and Apple Watch models. Now, aside from Apple Watch Ultra, the crash detection feature is enabled by default on the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 14 Pro Max, Apple Watch Series 8, and the second generation Apple Watch SE. The feature can be found in the Settings app under Emergency SOS, then to call after severe crash, and you can turn off alerts and automatic emergency calls from Apple using a toggle option provided there. However, we would recommend you don't do that. What you should do is give a big thumbs up to this video. Conclusion. According to Apple, their crash detection technology is built to spot serious accidents involving front impact, side impact, rear end collisions, and rollovers. However, Apple stresses that it cannot detect all car accidents, so users should still use caution. It ought to be functional most of the time though. The crash detection feature is available on other Apple Watches as mentioned, so if you're looking to buy one, you might want to hold off because there are other factors to consider. Our next video will tell you why you shouldn't buy the Apple Watch Ultra. Thanks for watching.